Once again, welcome and welcome aboard to the Unash and Dukes podcast. Coming your way here for a midweek edition on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Unash and Dukes podcast. Go in, watch, view, subscribe. We appreciate it. Leave some comments, even negative ones. There's no such thing as a dumb question. There's no such thing as a bad comment. So we thank you for viewing and tuning in once again here today as we are presented by Emil's Hideaway in First Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids. They're right across from the Lindale Mall and next to the Home Depot. Open at 4 o'clock Monday through Saturday. And thanks to Jamie and Chris and everybody over there. They do a tremendous job and big supporters of ours. We do appreciate it for many, many years, not only just when we started the podcast, but for many years. And it is Wednesday. That means it's wrestling day. It's Mark Ironside Day. And a big thanks to the sponsor for our segment. And that, of course, is Kurt Gustafson Agency of American Family Insurance. Kurt on Johnson Avenue Northwest in Cedar Rapids, right across from the Johnson Avenue Hy-Vee. And he's the guy to see for all your insurance needs. He can put everything together for you. And good guy as well, and a big supporter of ours and Mark's and wrestling and everything under the sun. So thank you to Kurt Gustafson Agency of American Family Insurance. And, well, let's start off with good news. You raised a lot of money Friday night, right, Mark?
Yeah, we raised the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. I can't remember what the total was, what we ended up with. Chad Baby, the Hawkeye Wrestling Club's executive director, sent it out today, and I think it was like 215,000. I mean, think about that. 212 or 50, over $200,000. I mean, their goal was 150, and they got to 200 plus. I think the biggest year they ever had was 250,000. But that's just crazy. That's insane. So much money.
Did you hit your goal?
I did hit my goal. Yep. We got my goal every year is 25,000, and I got to, I want to say, like 26 and some change. So with the help of you two as well, and it takes a village. It's a lot, but we met the goal. So I was happy about that. I did my part. And then I had to jump in the water with my niece, Maddie. She was a champ. She was way better at it than I was. I didn't even submerge this year. I was a baby. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care. There was no ice. So you went off the dock and we jumped in off to the left, which I didn't know was going in, but we were holding hands, my niece, Maddie, and I. And the deeper part was to the left, which is on her side. And then the shallower part was on the right, which is on my side. So we went in and she went like up to her neck. Obviously, she's a lot shorter than I am. And then I only went up to my waist. And so she went under, and I was like, I'm out. I'm good. My waist is good enough. I mean, I got wet where I didn't want to get wet, and if that was good enough, let's just get out of here while it gets good. I was shocked to the system, like, okay, let's go. And it was so cold too. The wind was blowing so hard that night, and it was cold. I don't know if you were out at 10 o'clock at night that night, but to even just run down there and jump in, and then to run back. I honestly, that's the worst thing I dread every year, all year long. Like jumping into that water, like the worst thing in the world. I hate it.
Mark, raising that much money certainly is an indication that people are totally supportive, if not even more. If you're, setting records with raising money, they're giving money, but you couldn't really tell it after some of the comments I read from Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that it's getting tougher and tougher every year to raise money for the Hawkeye Wrestling Club, and a lot of that, I think comes from the success of the team. I mean, we whipped Penn State Friday night. We maybe even hit 250,000. We get back up to 250,000. I know that I sent out a lot of pledges, and I don't hear back from some people at all. Like nothing back, nothing bad, nothing good. Just don't hear back, and I just wonder some of it isn't. I mean, here's the thing, and Tom Brand says it all the time too. But success breeds success. I mean, and that's how life is, when things are good, things are good. And when they're not, things get a little bit tougher. And so we definitely, it was not a pretty dual meet for the Hawkeyes against Penn State that night, for sure. Not good at all. The two matches I thought we'd win, we lose. One of the toss-up matches, we got lucky and held on for a victory. Got that first takedown with Bailey. And that was not, I mean, it was a win, but it sure wasn't a pretty win.
No. Tom, after the meet, said, and I'll put the quote out here. I think that we have the right guys to do the job. There is a gap between Iowa and Penn State, and that is my job, the program's job, and the coach's job to close that gap and overcome. We have the right guys. And yes, there are talented guys in the room for Iowa. Now, Penn State's doing this to everybody. That's not an excuse. I mean, they're shutting people out, giving up like 1.8 or something like that, I read, which is just crazy. It wasn't Iowa's best night. I think everybody can agree to that. Penn State had a lot to do with that. And I think it's just frustrating right now for Iowa fans out there. I mean, no one is feeling bad for Iowa. That's for sure. It's just, I think everyone's just frustrated at this point, Mark.
Well, I think the frustration comes, it's not from the wins and the losses as much. I mean, like you said, Penn State's doing this to everybody. Penn State's got kudos to them. I mean, they've got a team that scores multiple points from bottom of their lineup to the top of their lineup. They're doing a fantastic job. But it's not just about the wins and the losses. It's about how you compete. And that's where I think the frustration lies within the Iowa fans and the Iowa base, is just how we're not offensive. We're just not attacking. We're not getting to the angles. We're not creating setups. We're not firing off shots. And then when we do, we a lot of times scramble and we can't. They either go to stalemate or we can't score. Or we give up a takedown. So a lot of it's based off of just the product that you're putting out on the mat. And right now, the attendance is showing it. I mean, and I know that season tickets raised this year in the price, but that was the first time in I don't know how long that a dual meet like that with like Penn State wasn't sold out. I mean, I know the season's sold out, but even that dual meet, and there was probably a couple thousand seats left. And that, I think, is from not the ticket prices, but the product that we've been putting out on the mat. And I don't think Friday night helped that at all either. So, I mean, that's the thing is Tom can say whatever he wants to say in his press conference and say, hey, we've got the right guys. That means that us or the program or the coaches need to figure out whatever he said, basically he's putting it on himself. But, and that's what his job is, but at the same time, what I personally can't understand is that these guys have been, every guy in our lineup, I mean, they've been like incredibly successful at the sport of wrestling throughout their careers, high school careers, and some even early on their college careers. And they got to this by being successful by scoring points and putting points on the board and pulling the trigger. And now all of a sudden, they're not. I don't care if it's Tom Brands in your corner or Mark Dukes in your corner. You don't need a wrestling coach to go out and at least, I mean, it shouldn't matter. Like you don't even have a wrestling coach at all in the corner. You just go out there by yourself. You at least know how to shoot and how to hit offense and get angles and work hard and raise your level of urgency. And we're just not doing any of that. And you got to tell me, like, that's why I just kind of get frustrated sometimes with the people that I hear things. And I don't go on social media and see it all, but I hear people say stuff, is that it's, and I can't put my finger on a why, but it's not really, I don't put everything on, the coaching staff and Tom, even though he puts it on himself. It shouldn't matter. Like, we're just not doing anything. Like, I just don't know how that's humanly possible to even go out and wrestle 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and never take a shot. Like, how is that even humanly possible? I don't know what creates that to happen. That's where I'm just absolutely mystified and dumbfounded. I just don't get it.
Mark, sometimes it is the mentality, sometimes it's style. And one thing that I talk to some of my friends about is the approach of some wrestlers in neutral position on one knee. Ferrari, Ayala, many have been very successful with that approach. And your nemesis, Kerry Colad, I think, had a little bit of that. But this on one knee in neutral position, I don't know where guys get it, why they adopt it, what the advantages are. Somebody estimated Ferrari spent 2.5 minutes of 7 minutes on one knee. My understanding is, correct me if I'm wrong, that could be advantageous, getting an explosive shot, but it also can have its drawbacks too. So that one knee approach, tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, it's just a style thing. It's what he does for a style. It's not like he just adopted that. Those guys just adopted that in the last year or so. That's just that's their style. That's what they do. And they're very good at getting guys coming into them by doing that. Like, you get down low in a crouch and you kind of hang out, and the guy feels like his opponent's a little bit vulnerable being down there, so that they come across, and as they come across, then bam, they hit him with a lot of times a misdirection. You think you're stepping in at the right leg, and they'll go back to your left leg and get that one as that stepping. And it's just a style thing. And you mentioned that he was down on a knee for 2.5 minutes. My thing is, and that's frustrating for me, is that was an overtime match, I believe.
Yeah.
We lost in overtime.
Yep.
I
2-1.
think. But we wait until the last 30 seconds of overtime there, and then we throw everything in the world in the kitchen sink when now we're losing by a point. We're losing, so now we have to go and do something. Like, this is where I struggle a little bit, just because that's just not how I'm wired. But why are we not going out the first whistle like that? Why are we not wrestling in the first period like that? And I actually had this conversation with Tom this week, a little bit about that. And I talked to him and how he told me something one time, and I'm sure listeners out there or whatever know this from my career and watching me, especially early on in my career. But I gave up a lot of points first. I started slow a lot of times. And I mean, anybody, they call me the comeback kid. Good thing I had conditioning on my side. But I got behind in a lot of matches early. And I remember, I'll never forget, and I was telling Tom this, I'll never forget, I don't remember what match it was, but I was in the tunnel getting ready to go out and wrestle next. And Tom says, you need to pretend right now, like you need to literally think that you're down by a takedown right now. You're already down by a takedown. The match has already started. You're down by a takedown right now. Okay? Like, literally getting that in your head. You go out there right now, right before I went out there, he's telling me this. You're already down by a takedown right now. And so I did. Like, I went out there thinking, all right, I'm already, this first whistle right here, I'm already down 2-0. So in my mind, and I didn't just pretend yeah, that's something I have to think about, blah, blah, blah. Like, I believed it. Like, I really put it into my head that I was down by a takedown because I started slow. And that got me going, and that helped a lot. And the funny thing was what Tom told me, he was very similar. And then what he did was, when his warm-up, before he went out, let's say it's up in the wrestling room, whatever, before he came downstairs and did the national anthem and shook hands to you, but you're in warm up upstairs, he always had his partner take him down last on purpose. He always had him take him down last. So it felt like he was behind. It felt like he got taken down last and he had to go. I mean, that's so basically what I'm getting at is it's a mental thing. And right now our guys are thinking, okay, well, I got 7 minutes. No, 7 minutes. What do I got to go now for? I got 5 minutes. What do I need to go now for? I've still got 2 minutes. I got the whole third period. What do I need to go down for? I still got overtime. I'm good. But that cannot be your approach. That can't be your mentality. I don't care how good you are, how good your defense is. It just can't be your mentality. And this is where Penn State sets themselves apart from pretty much the rest of the country. I mean, right now we're looking to win. If you haven't noticed, when we do win, we celebrate like we just won the national title or the Super Bowl. And the win was just your average Joe win. Who'd you beat? And we're out. What? Bring it down about 10 notches. You just beat a guy you're supposed to beat. The kid was 2-3, didn't even have a 500 record. We're celebrating like we just won the Super Bowl. I'm like, that's where our mentality's at. And Penn State, their mentality is, they're not thinking about winning. They're just thinking about scoring points and going out and putting as many points to the scoreboard on as they can and getting tech falls and major decisions and bonus points. Yep. And we are literally thinking about just surviving and just trying to win the wrestling match at any cost. And that's not the mentality that you want to have if you're going to win wrestling matches against the top-notch people in the country, because it gets tight. It gets really, really tight at that level. And if your goal is just to win, you're going to have a lot of tight matches and you're going to come out on losing end on a lot of them. And the other thing is, my biggest thing and my biggest frustration probably is that even when we do get a lead, we sit on it. We don't continue to keep scoring points and putting ourselves in positions to continue to keep scoring. And if you're not doing that, then you're not going to develop. You're not going to get better. You're just sitting idle and just hanging out. But before we can even put more score points on the board, we got to put a point on the board. And so I think a lot of what's the frustration comes from the fans, the Iowa base, and me. It's not that it's the wins and losses. It's just how we're competing, and it comes down to mentality. It's just our mental aspect and how we're approaching the matches mentally. And I believe Tom's right. We've got the great guys in the room that are proven winners. So where's it at? What's the problem? Where are we falling short? Those are the questions we got to ask. And I don't think it's really technique or this or that, but it's more so right here. It's between the ears. And the other thing, I was watching Ferrari, and he got really tired in his match towards the end. His face was red. And I just don't understand that, because we just spent, like you said, 2.5 minutes from not even being in contact. I mean, we're just sitting there resting on a knee for 2.5 minutes. I mean, how could we possibly be tired right now? We haven't even had a scramble. So that's the other thing. I don't know why we get. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I've talked long enough. What else you got?
On top of that, and I made a conscious effort to watch this on Friday night, the footwork and Penn State, what they do. And it goes by what you said with the attack mode. 2 steps up, 1 step with the other foot, 2 with that left foot, coming up with the right, always going on the attack. And it seemed like they had 3/4 of the mat that they were using, and the Iowa wrestler had 1/4 of the mat that they were using. Just advantages like that. And I think you hit on something, that it's not only the physical thing, but it's also the mental thing right now. This team needs something good to happen right now. They need Friday's another opportunity. That's the way you got to look at it right now. This thing's in the past. It's in the rearview mirror if you're a Hawkeye fan. You got to look at Nebraska now. I mean, this is done. Now you got a chance to go out there and make a lot of people in Big Red Country very angry over there at Devaney Center. So that's what you got to concentrate on now.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly 100% right. And it's not going to be an easy one, especially with, Ferrari being on the lineup now. I mean, Gabe Arnold's in there, so that's nice that we got a Gabe Arnold that's versatile. We can wrestle 74, 84, 97 or whatever. But Ferrari going down, probably a lot of people didn't see it, but when he was wrestling late in that match, they went out of bounds and he got up and he was limping pretty good. I don't know if he rolled an ankle or what, but I did notice it right away. Like right away, he was he was struggling to get back up and he was limping and he fought through it. A lot of people didn't even notice it, but whatever it was, he's dinged up and he's not in the lineup. And then also 25, Peterson. I mean, he's in the lineup, but we also have two other guys listed there as well too. So I don't know if Peterson's going to go because he tried to roll. Guy got in his leg, wasn't ready to go, wasn't moving his feet. Guy got in his leg, and then we tried rolling out of bounds, and we literally throw ourselves right on our back of our neck and head, and that dinged him up. So so now we got two guys from the Penn State meet that are dinged up, and it just that does not help the cause at all whatsoever. And that Devaney Center Friday night at 8 p.m. That place is going to be, it might be cold outside, but it is going to be hot and it's going to get heated inside big time. That is going to be a very, very hostile environment. And there's no team, just like every other team in the country, that Nebraska loves to beat more than Iowa. And right now I have it to where, I mean, really both teams, it's pretty even. It's honestly pretty even with a couple toss-ups. Iowa could win, Nebraska could win. But like you said, it's an opportunity to go out and right or wrong and really kind of get the ship steered in the right direction. Or if things don't change, this could be really, really, really ugly. And we even take another step backwards. And we just can't have that right now. We can't. We have to go in there ready to go off the first whistle, looking to score points, getting gritty, getting tough in scramble situations, and just basically saying, I'm going to score. I'm going to score this takedown. I'm going to get to a leg. I got to do whatever I got to do. I'm going to score this takedown and just be ornery about it and make it happen. You can't just hope a guy falls in a wet spot and makes it easy for you because that's not going to happen.
Got interesting matches, Mark, Friday night. Ayala's got another challenge, but I look at Kennedy and Minto. I'm not sure why Kennedy didn't wrestle against Penn State. And then, if it comes down to heavyweight, you got Keeter and AJ Ferrari. And Keeter's another guy that just, a former world champion, just has not found his offense in a lot of meets.
No, and I don't look for that matchup with him and Ferrari to be, I mean, if it's sub-zero temperatures outside, which it's going to be, and you don't want to sit in traffic after the meet's over, that might be a good one to get up and leave after 97's over if the dual meet's kind of already handled
Really?
in time.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Ferrari wrestles on one knee too. AJ does. He's down low. He kind of waits for a guy to come at him. It's just not going to be an entertaining match. I mean, there will be some point in time in the match, it'll be entertaining. But it's not going to be like 7 minutes of just letting the fur fly. It's going to be about 6.5 minutes of like, when are we going to start wrestling here? But that 30 seconds in there, somewhere something's going to happen, but it's not going to be an entertaining match. So, but there are going to be a lot of entertaining matches. 74 with Patrick Kennedy. He's up to third and Minto is the number 6. So that ought to be an entertaining match. 84 with Allred and Gabe Arnold. I think Allred beat Gabe Arnold last year 3-1 or something like that, or 4-1. I think it was even in overtime. I think it was overtime. And like you mentioned too, 33. This is a huge match for Drake Ayala. They wrestled once before, and I think Drake beat him, but was very close. Might have been last year, but that's a big match for Drake. Drake's got a losing streak going. I mean, here we are talking about 2-time national runner-up, and we got a 4-match losing streak going or something like that right now. That's got to snap. This is a perfect opportunity to turn that around, and that's a match we have to have in order to win this dual meet. So, 57 looks like we're taking Boinovich. They're heavily favored there. 41 we could win. 49 we could win. 65 we're favored there. It's not going to be like an easy match for Caliendo, but if anybody can turn a match that's supposed to be on paper close into something bonus, that would be Caliendo, because he's like the one guy on the team that will wrestle you for 7 minutes and give everything he's got and continue to keep scoring, and keep the pace going. So, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of entertaining matches for sure. Very, very, a lot. And having Mo and Dean out of the lineup now and gone, that really hurts us at 97. So Tom's had a lot thrown at him, and so has the program. But I mean, the national title, obviously, that's a stretch. But some of these matches, us against Nebraska, us against Oklahoma State, possibly Ohio State. I mean, those are winnable matches, but it's going to take a lot for us and us firing on all cylinders up and down the lineup.
Yeah. Of course, the most entertaining match might not even be on the mat. With the annual Tom and Terry versus Mark Manning situation.
Yep. Yep.
It's coming. You know it's going to happen at some point.
Yep. I'm telling you, this dual meet it's going to be so incredibly heated. Like it's so heated. It's so hostile in there. It's like as an athlete, it's like one of your favorite places you could ever ask for to go out and compete in. And but also as a radio commentator, it's like one of the toughest places to lose in. So we just don't want to lose, because they have us sitting basically right in the crowd, and then everybody around you is screaming and yelling, and it's just come on, guys, take one here. Let's get one here.
Very true. Very true. And this is a premier matchup this weekend in the Big Ten. I mean, everything else is good Lord, how I feel bad for Maryland. I have no idea how that's going to end up with Penn State, but
Penn State could literally just take the weekend off, wrestle all their backups, and honestly, just prevent injury, wrestle their backups, and call it good, and still go out there and win probably 8 or 9 matches out of the 10 with all their backups.
Agreed.
Hey, Mark, do you think it's possible in wrestling to do what Indiana did in football? Or maybe Penn State did it 10 or 12 years ago. I don't know. Ahead of everybody, but what Indiana did in football
Turn
in too
around that
short.
fast.
What's that?
Turn a program around that fast.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying? Oh yeah, absolutely. Look at David Taylor is already doing it. I mean, John Smith, the program wasn't as bad as Indiana was, but when John Smith left, and I have a ton of respect for John Smith, and I'm not like knocking John Smith. He was just old school. He got tired of the dealing with the NIL. It was just coming out, and he's like, you know what? This isn't me anymore. I'm done. But I tell you what, David Taylor goes in, he gets 30 mil and starts recruiting heavily and bringing his staff in and stuff. Next thing you know, they're going to be the top team to probably compete with Penn State. And you give it another year or so, and he's going to be right there with them. So can it be done in this day and age with money? I mean, money buys a lot. Does it buy happiness? I don't know. Ask Penn State. Ask Cale if he's happy or not. I mean, they got a lot of money when he went to Penn State, $7 million, and they have invested it heavily and in the right places and done some things with that money before NIL existed to make it work for them and into their favor. And that's where they get a lot of the top recruits. It ain't off of straight scholarships, but at the same time, I don't care how much money you got. You could have all the money in the world and recruit all the best guys in the world, but if they don't go out and put points on the board, that money ain't doing nothing for you. You still have to coach them. You still have to develop and put points on the board, and they still have to go out and they have to win. And that's where Cale's doing obviously a really, really good job. So, but money helps. That's for sure.
True. Not this week, but a week from Friday, UNI wrestles Okie State. So see what the Panther train has for them. You talk about the haves and the have-nots. I mean, not that UNI doesn't have anything. I mean, Schwab's doing a great job with what he's got, but it ain't $30 million in Cedar Falls.
No, absolutely not. No. It's
We'll
just kind of like NASCAR, I mean, you don't have to be a great driver. You just got to have a lot of money to get in. So, I mean, money buys a lot, that's for sure. And that's just unfortunate. That's where we're at with athletics. And like I said, we've talked about this before, and we could go into an enormous long conversation about it, but it's here and it ain't going nowhere. And so love it or hate it. Either stop watching or stop bitching, one of the two.
Mark Ironside, commissioner of college wrestling.
I wish.
Give you 24 hours to fix everything.
I
right?
could do it in 24 hours.
There you
As
go.
long as I got the backing from the NCAA and I could do what I want, I'd have it fixed. I'd have it fixed in 12 hours for sure. Less.
2-point takedown.
That'd be on one of the list of things. We don't need 3. Hell, well, let's just make it 5. Who cares? What's the big deal? It don't matter. What's the difference? Just give them 5 points a takedown. I mean, it ain't gonna change anything other than you're gonna get to a major decision and tech fall faster, but it ain't gonna change. I mean, okay, we got more points for a takedown. Is Iowa more aggressive now because of that?
No, in fact, maybe the other way. Like you said, and not to pick on Bailey or anything like that, but he goes out, does a good job early, and then shut her down.
It has nothing to do with the points of a takedown or the scoring system. That's why I just wish they wouldn't have messed with it. They tried, like, I don't know what they're doing. Idiots, absolutely idiots. They just, I don't know, makes no sense. Anyway, what else? What else you got, Mark?
No, I'm just saying, maybe this one knee approach, Tom Brown's ought to get on one knee to a bunch of boosters.
Well, I mean, we could use some more money, that's for sure. We don't have 30 million. That's for dang sure.
Well, yeah, you're not going to give me 30 million. I'm going to win a NASCAR race. I can tell you that right now. But I'll take the 30 million.
Yeah, no kidding. We don't have Penn State money. We don't have Oklahoma State money. That is for sure.
Yeah.
So,
How much is Ohio State getting?
I don't know. I'm sure they're doing well. You know who's really, I mean, a really, really good go-getter with money, and that's basically his full-time job is Dresser, Iowa State. That guy is a fundraising machine. Matter of fact, I mean, that's basically his only job. This is his number one job. He shows up for the dual meets and tournaments, but Metcalf and St. John, they pretty much just run the room. And Dresser's out just recruiting and freaking guys and money the whole time.
That's the state of college athletics right now.
Yeah. Somebody's got to do it. You almost got to hire a full-time person. That's their only job is to go out and get us a bunch of money. Iowa's got to do it the hard way. I mean, look at how hard we worked to raise $200,000 for that Arctic plunge, and all the Chad Beatty and puts all these fundraisers together and stuff like that or whatever. And it'd be nice if someone just came in and offered 30 million. All you got to do is invest it, and you never have to have another fundraiser or wrestling camp or anything. You just concentrate on focus on solely on wrestling, and that's it.
Yeah, very true. Very true. All right, man. We'll let you go to your daughter's birthday. And I'm not going to ask how old because that's going to make you, me, and Mark feel old.
She's today's her goal, or tomorrow I should say is her birthday. It's her golden birthday. She's 22 on the 22nd. And you know who else? It's Stephen Grace's birthday too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
They share the same birthday.
Tell Stephen happy birthday.
I will. So
You
what's
drive-
that Taylor Swift song? 22, I think. Yeah, she got like a T Swift birthday.
Are you driving to Lincoln?
Yeah. No, yeah, we are. I'm leaving with team's leaving tomorrow. I'm leaving with Nelly, our video photographer, Matt Nelson, and then Sam Bassler, our sports ID, and then Steven and we're all leaving around 1 tomorrow. So that'll be a long day there, duel that night, and I'll get home about 3, 4 a.m.
Ooh.
But hey, I get paid $120, so we're good.
Tell your daughter happy birthday and no talk about Penn State football, okay?
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. Appreciate it, fellas. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
You bet. Thank you.
Right. See ya.
Mark Ironside's appearance brought to you by Kurt Gustafson Agency of American Family Insurance on Johnson Avenue Northwest in Cedar Rapids. Kurt starts by getting to know your needs and builds a free auto, home, or life insurance quote by bundling policies. He can offer a variety of discounts, whether you're purchasing a car, buying property, managing an investment property, starting a small business, or leaving behind a legacy. He is the guy to see on Johnson Avenue, right across from the Johnson Avenue Hy-Vee. And thanks to Kurt, thanks to Emil's Hideaway, we talked about earlier on, our presenting sponsor. Thanks as well to Dr. John Woolner at Epiphany Dermatology, Council Street Northeast in Cedar Rapids. Ben Ritter Sportswear, downtown Cedar Rapids, and online at benritter.com. Hunt Graphic Innovations as well. They can discover the difference that they can make for you at Hunt Graphic Innovations. I think there's just a lot of frustration right now for Hawkeye wrestling.
Yeah, I think Mark's comment about the level of frustration for fans is not necessarily in the wins or losses, but it's how Iowa is competing. And that can be true in a lot of sports, basketball, football, whatever sport it is. But I think he hit it on the head there. That's where the frustration is. It's not just losing to Penn State, it's the way in which Iowa lost.
Did not look good.
Yeah.
Did not look good. In 10 weights, basically. Bailey, yes, early. And got the win for Iowa. But yeah, we'll see how it goes this week in the world of college wrestling. A few other things to talk about before we set sail here today. Two Baseball Hall of Famers, Mark. Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones. Yay or nay?
Well, the only rap against Beltran is his involvement with the Houston Astros and that whole sign stealing thing. I mean, if the purists out there want to go down the road of, why Sosa and McGuire and Roger Clemens are being held out because of cheating. I know steroids and sign stealing are two different things. That's the only drawback on Beltran. Hell of a player, hell of a resume. And actually, I think Andrew Jones, I'm surprised it took so long. I mean, he kind of trickled off at the end of his career, which might have held some voters back. But man, he was as good as they came during his playing days.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of poo-pooing it because I think 254 career average, not that average matters anymore. We know that in baseball, they're kind of talking that he's the Brooks Robinson of the outfield. I mean, all the gold gloves that Andrew Jones won. And during his time, he was a good offensive player, like you talked about, Mark. Early on in his career, leveled off toward the end. And yeah, I think probably deserving of going to Cooperstown. Beltran especially, I think, is deserving. Played for a lot of teams. I don't know what he's going to do as far as the hat he's going to wear for his induction ceremony, but that ought to be very interesting and entertaining because he's got a lot of choices out there. But his numbers are a lot better than you think they are when they're compared to other Hall of Famers. Interesting for next year. Buster Posey comes in. We'll see if he will be. I don't know about a first ballot Hall of Famer, but as far as catchers go, Buster Posey, I think, is right up there and probably will be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, who knows? Mark Burley got some votes this year too. So, Torrey Hunter. So,
yes, he did.
What was it? Andrew Jones, 9th time on the ballot.
Yeah.
I can't understand what takes so long. You need to, set him in a timeout for 5 years before. I know it's part of it is the certain classes and, these guys are better than the others. I get all that, but man, you're 9 times on the ballot and you finally get in. Kind of weird.
I love some of these guys that got half a percentage. I feel bad for someone because they're good players. They're really good players, but they're not Hall of Famers. I get it. I think Rodriguez ended up with 40% this year. I'd have to go back and see if that is on par with what he has done in the past. But
how many better players than him on the ballot?
Yeah, cheating is cheating, right, Mark? It
depends on who you ask.
You're not a little bit pregnant, right?
Depends on who you ask. Pete Rose. You know, we've had that debate for a long time. Rose and then the steroids guys, and now the Houston Astros sign stealing. Um, it just depends on how you view it. And some people are more hardcore about it than others. Um, I try to view it from a prism of, you know, if a player hadn't taken steroids, was he before steroids, or you know, was he a Hall of Fame type player? And uh, but that's not the standard for everybody, and voters view it differently. So I get it.
Yeah. And then if you missed it late last night, um, certainly I did not miss it. Luis Robert being traded to the New York Mets for two prospects and basically closing the door on a very short and not very glorious era of Chicago White Sox baseball. About 6, 7 years ago, when Sox did make a postseason, but uh, they were looking at it as a glorious next 3 or 4 years, and it never materialized. I don't even think a 500 record, and they are all gone now. Every one of those prospects on that team are all gone.
Well,
And
be thankful Robert didn't go to the Cubs because he would have won the Triple Crown.
he still might with the Mets. Guy's got ability, man.
Oh, he's got tons of ability.
And I don't know if it was a coaching situation, whatever the case may be, but it was a little sad last night when I got the news of Luis Robert. Not quite as sad as Wilbur Wood, but Luis Robert, number 88, not being in the outfield, will probably hit 290 with the Mets this year and lead them to a Met Yankee World Series. That ain't going to happen because the Dodgers are still in Major League Baseball. Believe it or not, we're only 21 days away from spring training
Yeah.
getting underway. Doesn't seem like that should be the case, but it is. And baseball is right around the corner. And we're making inroads for that on the podcast. If you can read between the lines on that one. More on that down the line. Basketball, before we depart here on the podcast, poor UCF. Poor UCF. Central Florida was unfortunately the team that was coming into Ames after 2 straight losses on the road for Iowa State. And Cyclones looked like Penn State wrestling on Tuesday night. There was no way Johnny Dawkins' team was going to win that game. And Iowa State was good.
Certainly it was in the second half. I mean, Central Florida cut it to single digits before halftime, but great second half and great bounce back for Iowa State. You kind of expected that. We'll see what happens the rest of the season, but Iowa State really needed that one.
And got it, as expected. So the ship is righted, I think, for Iowa State. Really played better defense, rebounded a lot better, did everything better last night at home, and got the victory. You never thought you'd see the time where it was a lousy clunker last night, but it's a win. And that's what Ben McCullum basically said after the game. Iowa beating Rutgers, I think 68-62. It was not a thing of beauty. Iowa just looked off last night. The timing really wasn't there. Bennett Sturts for about 32 minutes did not look like Bennett Sturts at all. Was throwing the ball away, wasn't making shots, et cetera, et cetera. Sage saved Iowa for the first 30 minutes of that game last night, along with Tavion Banks. But that was the Sage game, and the coming out a little bit last night. And then Sturts got it going at the end. Iowa held off Rutgers. You kind of gave me a little, you know, push in the shoulder or whatever when I told you that I think Rutgers was a lot better than their record. Tell you, Peichel could coach. I'll say that.
Best 9-9 team around, yeah. No, this is not going to end up on Iowa Basketball Classics on the Big Ten Network. That's for sure, but it's certainly not a game Iowa could afford to lose, and it didn't. Tate Sage had a ton to do with that. I've liked him from the start. It's easy to say after he scores a career high, but I really like what he does on the basketball floor. And we talked about matchups, and a couple of spots weren't great matchups for Iowa, and that's why Rutgers had some success. But Sturts, that was the quietest 20 points I've seen in a long time. But he did have 20, and um, the one constant, I guess, is that Iowa continues to play excellent defense. It's held every opponent this year below its season average. I don't
Like
know how many program teams can say that, but that's been one constant.
and Iowa played good defense again last night. Yeah, that's a Rutgers team that's getting better. They're not going to make the tournament, I don't think,
Yeah.
uh, but they're going to cause some problems for people down the line as far as the Big Ten is concerned. And um, I agree with a lot of the things you said right there. So we haven't even mentioned congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers on winning the national championship. Uh, Interesting, a brewery in Indiana has now offered Kurt Signetti free lifetime of beer. I don't want to go out and say it's a local Indiana company. It's not one of the national brands, but Indiana, like you talked about with Mark earlier on, can somebody do that in wrestling? Well, Indiana did it in football. Indiana's not going away anytime soon, um, with Mark Cuban money behind them, and
No,
they've
I don't
got
think that. A lot of folks just assume that, Cuban's behind it. And this started before Cuban got involved. And it's just a remarkable story. I've said it more than once. And, if money bought a national championship, Ohio State and Texas or Texas Tech would have been in the national championship. It doesn't work out that way. It certainly helps, no question about it. But I think Miami had a bigger NIL than Indiana, and Miami didn't win the national championship. So, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But Indiana put it all together, and 27 wins in 2 years is pretty darn impressive.
that's amazing. Mendoza didn't have his best game, but boy, that fourth down run was impressive. Getting into the end zone, and to be honest with you, Indiana probably won that game on special teams with the block punt for a
Yeah.
touchdown because you take that away, and Miami might be Michael Irvin might be still parading up and down.
We can thank Indiana for that, right?
Very true.
This Indiana Bear Company is going to get a whole lot more mileage out of that than Kurt Signetti ever will.
Oh yeah,
That's a smart move by that company.
it is. It is, and I'm not. I don't know. I know he was offered. I don't know if he took it or
Well, I don't think Signetti's a guy that pounds beers all day, every day either. So,
no.
yeah.
But he has one after he wins a national championship. He said that. Um, Indiana already. Your second favorite thing behind preseason polls is the way too early top 25s for next year, and God only knows how you can do that in this world of college athletics. Indiana, according to Fox, is the preseason number one next year again. Guess who's number two?
It's a team that won't be number 2 by the end of next year. I'll
Ohio
say that.
State.
It might be number 1. I don't know.
Texas is right there at number three, I think. That's your top three anyway. Indiana, Ohio
People,
State, Texas.
people complain about preseason polls. They're complaining about the end of the season AP poll. Iowa fans, how could Vanderbilt be ranked ahead of us at the end of the year? Who cares? 14, 17, 16, who cares? But I can't believe they got that wrong. Did they get it wrong? I don't know. And
If you
by and by July 1st, you won't remember what Iowa was ranked.
exactly, exactly. Ricky Bobby said it best, Mark. If you ain't first, you're last.
That's right.
And no one's going to remember in 7 years that Iowa finished behind Vanderbilt in 2025 in the college football season.
They'll remember Iowa beat Vanderbilt.
They'll remember Iowa beat Vanderbilt. They won't remember Iowa finished 17th and
Right.
Vanderbilt finished 15th.
Yeah.
Why do they even have a poll at the end of the year anymore?
Because we and so many others talk about it.
It's ludicrous. There's no point in it for having this poll.
Well,
None.
Illinois dropped out of the top 25 just because they lost on a last second, play. Yeah, it's kind of pointless.
It is
That's why you play for the national championship, right?
right.
Yeah.
About like the basketball poll coming out at the end of March Madness. What good does that do? You've
Yeah.
got to
Indiana, unanimous number one. Great. How they were.
in your day, would you have voted not Indiana number one? just to just to get hate mail from the Hoosier State?
Surprised there wasn't somebody that did.
I'm
Really, I
surprised.
am.
Yeah, I'm surprised too on that. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in and viewing. We do appreciate it. Thanks to Emil's Hideaway, Bim Ritter Sportswear, Hunt Graphic Innovations, Dr. John Woolner at Epiphany Dermatology, Kurt Gustafson Agency of American Family Insurance, all our great sponsors. Couldn't do it without them. We will do it again coming up toward the end of the week. And have a good midweek, Mark.
I will do. I'll talk to you at the end of the week.
All right. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. This has been the Unash and Dukes podcast.